everyone please close your eyes for just a minute? Now, with your eyes closed, imagine you have a disability. Now, with that disability, imagine getting ready for work in the morning. You have to do your personal grooming, like shaving or putting on your makeup. You have to pick out your clothes and make sure they match. You have to prepare your breakfast and get your lunch packed and get ready for your day. Now, go ahead and open your eyes. Thanks for playing along. Now, when you were imagining yourself with this disability, did you think in terms of a visual impairment? Were you blind? Did you have a hearing impairment? Were you deaf? Did you have a mobility impairment? Were you in a wheelchair or had difficulty moving? Maybe you went in a different direction and you had a speech impairment or trouble breathing, trouble focusing. You probably had difficulty with those daily activities when you envisioned yourself with a disability. It's okay to admit it. Your daily life would be impacted if you had a disability. Now, there are as many definitions of the word disability as there are impairments that cause it. But what all of the definitions have in common is the word inability. You probably had a difficult time in your imagination getting ready for work with a disability because we think in terms of disability by what someone can or can't do. A blind person can't see. A deaf person can't hear. Someone in a wheelchair can't walk. We are programmed to think about all of the things someone with a disability can't do. That's a really dangerous train of thought. You and I wouldn't want someone making all of these misconceptions about us, judging us based solely on what's happened to us. We wouldn't want a conversation to start from a place of pity. That's not fun. That's not fun for you. That's not fun for me. And what's really dangerous about it is when we get to the workplace. Your misconceptions shouldn't affect my ability to get a job, be successful in that job, and, well, be treated like a human. But unfortunately, it happens. People with disabilities face an unemployment rate that is historically double that of people without a disability. Now, I'm sure we've all been in a situation where we've been out looking for work, filling out applications, doing our cold calls, going on those awkward interviews. We've all had that experience, and it can be discouraging. Imagine facing the statistic that it's likely not going to work out well for you. How long before you just give up? Unfortunately, that's what happens. People with disabilities are far more likely to opt out of the workforce altogether. That's so sad because people with disabilities have so much to offer. But we can change that right here, right now. All of us, we can change that. We can rethink disabilities in the workplace. And it's 3 simple steps, I promise. They're really simple. How we start is we seek to understand. That's step number 1. Let's understand what it means to have a disability. Not all disabilities are visible, and you can't just focus on what someone can or can't do. You may not realize it, but I have a disability. Observing me, it may not be visible, but I have an executive processing disorder, commonly known as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Okay, I can already feel the judgment happening. Knock it off, stop, come back to me, let's seek first to understand. Okay, I have challenges with this diagnosis. When I was younger, my mother used to say that I didn't have enough sense to get out of the rain. You know how you talk to a child. And I think she meant that I was smart, but I didn't have common sense. Once we discovered that there was a diagnosis for it, I felt a little bit better. But I am time blind. We all have that friend who is late for everything, always late. I am that friend in my social circle. You can always count on me to not be there when you want me to be. And I promise you, on behalf of all of the pathologically late people here with us now, it's not that we don't respect your time. I promise you that. It's not out of disrespect. It's that I really think that I can fit that 10-minute task into the 3 minutes I have left. I really think I can. I think it's possible. And then I get excited about it, and then there's something shiny, and then I didn't account for traffic, and then now I'm in the car, and I'm banging on the steering wheel because now I'm 30 minutes late, and I know you're gonna be mad at me, and I'm just a mess, and feeling like I suck at life. So here we are. I'm horribly forgetful. What was I gonna say? Oh, okay, now I remember. Okay, so there was this one time, this 1 week, it was a really bad week. I once locked my keys in my car 3 times in 1 week. One of those times, while the car was still running. How do you even do that? And while I'm sitting on the little parking curb next to my car, waiting for AAA to come bail me out. By the way, public service announcement, you only get 4 bailouts before AAA doesn't want you anymore. As I'm sitting there waiting for AAA to come unlock me again that week, I'm thinking, how is it possible for me to ever be successful? I have absolutely no self-esteem and I have nothing to offer. That's not a fun feeling to have. I have no filter. I know I'm not alone in that one. I have no filter, and that's really bad in the workplace. I have seen the inside of many an HR office. Just so you know, it is not acceptable to call a coworker a murderer for eating meat. I didn't mean it. I really didn't mean it, and as soon as it came out, I wanted to pull it back because I knew it was inappropriate, and he was a really nice guy, but I got in trouble for that one, and that wasn't the only time. But you get in trouble for things like that. And if you just think about those deficits or those challenges, you might miss out on other things I do have to offer in an employment setting in the workplace. Which brings us to step number 2 of how we can rethink disabilities in the workplace. Instead of just stopping at thinking about what people can't do because they have a disability, let's think about what someone has to offer. Let's think about what things people can do despite their disability or because of their disability. Sure, I may have absolutely no memory. I'm like that fish in that movie who forgets everything. But I'm also a member of Mensa. I process information quickly. I come up with new ideas. I think that makes me an asset. I may have no filter, but I think that's where I can laugh off all of the annoying things that happen as a result of my ADHD. And I'm told by my best friend that that's what makes me funny. My best friend, of course, is my hero. She also has a disability. Her disability is known as cystic fibrosis. It's a lung condition that affects your ability to breathe, causes diabetes, arthritis, a bunch of other stuff. It's not fun. She's 30-something years old, and on her bad days, she sounds like a chain smoker who has been smoking 10 packs a day the way she coughs. Sometimes she gets winded walking from her office to the bathroom, and it's not that long of a hike. But because of her disability, she has seen hardship. She has overcome adversity to make sure she gets proper medical care, She has fought with insurance companies. She makes sure she gets her medicine. She won't take you-know-what from anybody. And that's the tenacity that you want in a friend, in a coworker, in an employee. You want that in the workplace. She and I work with a man who has been totally blind nearly his entire adult life. And his first job as a totally blind person was as a stay-at-home dad to 3 young boys. Now, if you've ever had small children that you've had to take care of, well, that's a difficult task with full eyesight. Imagine changing the worst blowout diaper of a squirmy toddler without the benefit of your eyes. Let that sink in for just a second, okay? This man probably changed a few hundred of those as a stay-at-home dad. This is a man who wanted to make sure his kids had a normal childhood, despite not having, quote-unquote, normal parents. And so he would pack up the diaper bag, and he would pack up the pack and play, and take his 3 small children on the bus to the park to make sure that they still got the same experience as other kids. Think of the time management and the planning and the organization skills that go into something like that. Those sound like skills you want in a person you work with, right? In addition, he has fantastic people skills. He runs circles around all of us on the computer. But imagine if no one would give him a chance just because he's blind. Which brings us to step number 3. We know that there are challenges associated with disabilities, and we know that there are benefits to having a disability because you learn to overcome. Now, individuals with disabilities just need a chance. So in your workplace, in your employment setting, whatever that looks like, how can you be more inclusive for people with disabilities? Does that mean you're more friendly to customers who have a disability? Does that mean you make sure that the website of your company is more blind friendly? Do you have training for your employees to make sure that they can interact with people with disabilities a little bit more sensitively? There are so many things that we can do to make sure that our workplaces are more inclusive. You know, disabilities advocates like myself, we like to say that the disabled population is the one minority group that any one of us could join at any time. If there were ever a time to start treating people the way you want to be treated, this is it. Let's rethink disabilities in the workplace. Thank you.